Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Game and we're returning to our Let's Play of War in the West. So let's see what the strategic bombs can do. I think we've just finished up our movement turn. I did move around a couple of things. And just while I did that over here, I realized that we do have one more unit that has quite a bit of attack value left here. The 6th British Armoured Corps. Now it's not the strongest, but I do think it might be worthwhile to take a shot over here against these Germans. Let's see whether we can push them out. No, they're holding out, so that's going to be alright there. Not much we can do about that then. Okay, that's fine. We did try. So that's okay. Right, let's push up our troops down here. So this unit here, this naval squadron, and this guy can basically form up a crossing over here towards the Reggio Calabria. I'm not sure whether it's going to be super successful as a crossing. We probably have to do a little bit nerfiest actions like landing in their rear and stuff. But for now, I think that is going to be alright. I suppose what I could do is I could try to pull a little bit of these guys back. But yeah, not this turn. I think that is going to have to wait until next time around. So that's fine. Let's end the turn over here and see what the Germans are going to do. And see how, yeah, basically the turn runs from their side now. Our attack on oil is progressing relatively well, and there's one more thing I want to show you that I was kind of puzzled about. Because if you remember quite closely, in the first episode or so, I did tell you that there were some issues with the manual. And I think the manual states that each resource factory produces 1,000 resources, basically. Germany has about 1,000 resource factories, so it's about 1 million points worth of resources that they should get by the manual. Now, in my little test game that I did before I started the series, I found out that the Germans actually have an income of about 6 million resource points per turn, at least for the first couple of turns. So that is the number that I was basing my decisions on and my thinking. So there is really a good question. Ooh, there's a lot of rain over here. Yeah, that's not great. Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see how it's in Northern Europe and everything. But yeah, rain is not a good time for us because obviously we are strongly relying on air power. So yeah, that is a big issue. Right, some losses on our side. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's mostly our movement points. We are losing 57 pilots. The Germans are losing a similar number. Interesting that they are losing so many planes but not losing that many fighters on that many that many pilots. Mostly Bf-109s. Interesting. A couple of Junkers 88. Okay, interesting. Right, so yeah, let's take a look at the info screens over here and the planning one. And what I would like to show you guys is the resource stores and pool. Now, if I read that correctly, basically, what you can see is that the Germans do have quite a bit of resources. They're losing some things in the first turn here, but in the next turn they had quite a couple of factories left, so that's more or less a zero line here. And I was kind of sure that, you know, it was not really worthwhile to try and disrupt their resources, but I'm not sure what's happening here in turn 4 and 5, because they are losing about 5 million resources in a single turn here, and they're only building that up later on, and that is really, really weird to me. I don't know what happened here in turn 4. That's kind of awkward. What I do realize though is their oil is going down there as well, and that is quite a drastic development. It could be due to the fact that there is some issue with the supply already kicking in, but I do not fully know. Something in the German economy is already starting to look really, really weird. And that is kind of interesting, honestly. So, yeah. Not sure what happened here. Really not sure. But, yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what we can do in Northern Germany. Hopefully there's not as much rain. No, there is not. Nevertheless, let's take a look at the weather forecast. So, yeah. Pretty much now there's a lot of rain down here in Southern Europe and in the Alpine region. And probably next turn, yeah, we can see that probably next turn Northern Europe is going to be under a big cover. So what that means for us is we should try to fly everyone who can fly and not park too many units in any of these other, in any of the other setups. So if their fatigue is not too high, I would very much like them to fly. So let's take a look at how many guys are actually fatigued over here. It's Melt Command. There's some in the US Air Force, specifically a couple of Mosquitoes here. That's alright. I think we can continue to fly them even though they have quite a high fatigue now, but they are going to be able to rest up next turn around. So I think that's going to be fine. Yeah, we've also got our recon craft over here, the F5 Lightnings in the 3rd Bomber Squadron. And these guys are extremely fatigued, so honestly these guys will need to rest up. 33% fatigue, that's just way too much. Or 31% here. No. Let's set you to rest and that's going to be fine. And then what else have we got? We've got you guys. Yeah, some of them are really, really high. And it's mostly the recon squadrons. That might be an issue here. I don't know whether we can gather enough recon for this turn, but I don't want to fly anyone with 30% or so. That's just inviting trouble. And I don't want to take too many losses on the recon craft either, so yeah, basically that's a no. Multi-command, I think these guys will be able to rest up anyway, so that should not be a big issue. But yeah, then we've also got the Thunderbolts over here. Now the Thunderbolts are interesting because I was thinking about this quite a bit in between episodes. Now the Thunderbolts, the P-47 is one of the heaviest fighters that the Americans got in the Second World War, at least in the European theatre. And it's not a very bad aircraft in and of itself, but you can see the issue is the radius of these guys is 312 miles, and that is when they are using drop tanks. Now, they will be able to use better drop tanks, but that is going to take a while. It's only going to be available in September. They're going to be having 110 gallons drop tanks, and then later on in 1944 they'll be upgraded again. But for now we are stuck with the 75 drop tanks, and that does mean a radius of 312 miles on a basis of, the base radius is 286 miles here. So that's alright. But even the P-40 Warhawks, if we compare these guys, you can see that these guys have slightly... Now this range here is a slightly different value. This is the overall range. The other one was the combat radius. You can see that these guys do have somewhat a similar range. But we can use 2 drop tanks on these guys, whereas we can only use a single drop tank over here. And that does mean that the P-40 Warhawk is going to have a range of 416 miles. So that is almost 100 miles more. Now, there's an issue with that. There's a caveat, and that is the maneuverability of these guys is low already. And once they are equipped with 2 drop tanks, it becomes much, much lower again. On the one hand. On the other hand, these guys also have lower ammo. They're flying slightly slower. So these guys would just not be as good as a combat aircraft, but they would have a bit of a better range. And we are seeing that we are taking horrendous losses when we are not escorted. So that is a big issue here. Now the other one that is kind of interesting would be, well, of course the P-51, but we don't really have enough of these aircraft. So I'm thinking that we should potentially look at the Lightning over here. We've got a couple of these guys in the pool. That should not be a big issue. This is a large group. I think this is about 50 aircraft or so. So yeah, that will cut quite deeply into the Lightning reserves over here. But the Lightning does have even better range. And it is not quite as badly hit. Now the one thing that is bad about the Lightning is it's a 2-engine aircraft. And that means these guys will lose some experience. But you know what? I think that is going to still be a good issue here. So yeah, let's change that. Let's switch you over to the Lightning. You're losing a little bit of experience, I think. Your fatigue, of course, is going to be the same. But yeah, now you have a good aircraft. And we can set you to rest here for a second. And what we're going to do is we are going to ask you guys to of course, get drop tanks as well. And that should push your range up to 562 miles. And that is fairly brilliant. That is extremely nice. Of course, this is going to mean your maneuverability is extremely low. Speed is not the greatest. climb rate is very much so yeah, there's a compromise here, but I do think that this is a worthwhile one because it is going to allow us to use you guys much further than we would otherwise be able to. So yeah, that's fine. So that was basically you guys over here. Yeah, exactly. These are now the lightning guys. Your mission setting here should be to rest, which you're going to do anyway, because your travel distance here is now at 100, but still, let's set it up this way so that we know what's going on. Fine. Everyone else, you know, honestly, I don't think we need you to rest up. Your fatigue here is mostly fine, again, except for Malta, and Malta is going to be alright anyway. Good. So let's reset that filter. Let's look at the morale. I would like anyone with morale, let's say lower than 70, to be highlighted over here. And it does seem like we have a couple of these guys. Yeah, you guys have extremely low morale, so really we don't want to use you. That's fine. We've got a good number of guys here in Bomber Command who have kind of low morale. But again, I don't think we're going to use them. They're going to have a pause next time anyway, so I think for now we can rest them up over here. But not everyone. So group number 5, for example, has a couple of really low guys over here. So honestly, you do need to rest up. Yeah, you do need to just rest, please. Morale 47, that's not what I like to see. You guys were taking quite severe casualties though, so I do understand that you might have some morale issues here. Yeah, and even you... Well, you know what, honestly 70, I think you're fine. So let's set you guys here to night bombing again. And that's going to be alright, yeah. But everyone else, 56 also, honestly that's kind of low. So yeah, let's rest you up. Give you a couple of days to recover here. That should be okay. Jesus. What's going on with you guys? That's really bad. I mean, these guys were taking extreme casualties. But that is pretty bad. I mean, morale 37. That's just no good. Okay, you know what? Let's actually set that as between 0 and 50. And everyone who's extremely low on morale, you guys do need to rest. Just no way around that. So yeah, let's set you to, I think, number 4. Yeah, rest. There we go. So that's fine. So that does settle that. Let's also look at the other information that we've got over here. So firstly, we can actually look at this thing over here. So there's a lot of things that you can see. The damage that we have dealt to the Germans so far. You can see there's the vehicle out in Brandenburg. You can probably see some of the other areas that we are hitting here. Cologne, Wuppertal, Bur should be having issues with the synthetic fuel, yeah. So there you go. That's fine. We've got the fried. Honestly, this is kind of boring information. East Front, don't need to be too concerned about that. That just tells us how much the Germans are doing over there. The logistics phase is kind of interesting because you can see that the Axis planes, you can see basically the recruitment of new pilots. And you can see that Germany is getting a trickle of pilots. Their training program is really bad. On the other hand, our training program should be relatively fine. So can we see that somewhere? Axis planes repaired. Yeah, we are getting a lot more pilots over time than they are, and also we are getting new skills and new training missions, so that's usually fine, and they are going to take some casualty in that regard. So what might be a little bit more interesting though is, well, replacements are fine, I think ammo's fine, renames are not typically a thing, arrival is nice to see. So we are seeing that the 5th US Infantry Division is arriving in the United Kingdom. All of that is fine, but for now we're not really going to take care of these ground units. What is a little bit more interesting is we're going to get 2 more squadrons of Sterlings over here, interestingly enough, and a squadron of B-24s, which I think I mentioned to one of you already, and another group of P-38s, so that's great to see because we've got a good number of long-range aircraft here. So yeah, these guys are very welcome, and that's lovely to see. We've got all of these supply shipments over here, not too big of an issue. Withdrawals we have none, and we've got all of the production that you can look at. The interesting bit is that we are getting here, you can see we are getting a couple of fortresses as recon aircraft, so that's nice to see. couple of aircraft being, let's say, shifted left and right from the US to the United Kingdom and the other way around, but nothing too big. Mostly, of course, it's from the United States to the Commonwealth. But yeah, just a couple of other things that are going on, including a couple of upgrades here of Mosquito aircraft, so that's always very nice to see. And here you can see all of the production that is happening on our side. Doesn't matter too much, so yeah, I think that's alright. Good, so that is that. Let's do look at the missions that we're currently planning. So this is of course the missions as they were flown last time around, and you can see one of the issues that we had over here in the Bomb City mission over here at Brandenburg, where we did hit the vehicle yards. This area here is where we were not covered by our fighters. So that is the area that has been proving difficult for us. So yeah, let's see whether we can do a little bit better. And I think one of the next interesting targets for the 8th Air Force over here might be, let's look over here. So if we do look at the fuel stuff, I don't think there's that much that we can do. I mean, a lot of these things are already damaged. Specifically, the synthetic fuel refineries again are the only ones that we do care about. And you can see like Stettin is heavily damaged, Buris heavily damaged, Merseburg still extremely damaged. Strats is not that big, honestly. We could try to reach there, but it would be kind of difficult. So I'm not sure whether we can do that. Blackhammer, these two guys, that's about 30 points. That would be really, really great to try and hit. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be viable. Blackhammer is oh, come on, where is it? I think it must be over here, right? Blackhammer? At Breslau? I think it's close to over here. Anyway, let's try to fly over here, and you can see the big issue here is, again, we don't really have the range to cover this with our fighters, and this would also take us over the entire Ruhr Valley with its extremely heavy flak concentration, so that really wouldn't be too fantastic. You guys are all set to fly. You guys are not flying because of various reasons, really. So that's fine. You guys are all set to rest. Now, is that actually correct? Honestly, you guys should probably not rest anymore. So you guys should be flying. So that should be fine. Let's briefly go through these guys just to make sure. Yeah, I think you are fine. Yeah, you've probably rested last time, but I don't think you need to do that this time around. Your morale could be a little bit better, honestly, but on the other hand, you know what? I think that's going to be perfectly fine. How about the B-24s? Yeah, again, you're doing fine. So honestly, yeah, let's just go ahead and send you on this mission as well. That should be fine. Oh, do notice, by the way, that we have upgraded a couple of our air groups here. B-17Fs to B-17Gs. Not a big change, honestly. I think it's just a couple of, a little bit more 50 cals in the front. That's fine, but what we do need to do is set you guys up with the correct loadout so that you have a little bit more heavy stuff. And then we've got the B-24 HD over here, which again is going to be very similar to what we've seen so far. Right, you guys are all set to rest or do different things. Set to rest. We've got a couple of mosquitoes over here that we might again want to bring in. Yeah. How about you guys? I think you are the ones with the... No, your morale is fine, so yeah, let's do use you. I think that's okay. How about you guys? Fine. Honestly, why not use them? Right, and they're out of range, but we can still use them to fly as close as possible. But you can still see, yeah, there's a big gap over here that we can't quite bridge. So nothing really we can do about that. Notice, by the way, that there's a lot of different P-47s here, all of which have the same problem that really they can't quite... You can see basically the ranges over here. They can't even reach over the Ruhr. So that is a big issue to me, because it just means that we can't use them to the degree that I would have loved to. Now your morale is fine, so honestly that means you pretty much rested up more than enough there, and I think that's fine. How about you? Yeah. Yeah, I think all in all, pretty good. That's you. More Thunderbolts over here. And all of them are really fine. So yeah, let's just do set you up. Good. Okay, last one. Yeah, again, perfectly fine. Day and night is good. So right, we've now got all of these fighters and all of these bombers, but it just doesn't feel right. If we look at the mosquitoes, you can see that their range should be much better. Okay, let's click on that, and then I think it should show that to us. It kind of doesn't. Well, I would have hoped that you showed the range. Anyway, doesn't matter too much, so... There we go. Okay, fine. Right, so basically at least you can see this is about the range. Now, what I would like to do then is potentially not attack this target, but maybe go for another one. And that other target here might be Stuttgart. Now, this is going to be a little bit better because it is actually in range. The way over there doesn't lead us over the Ruhr Valley, so that is fine. And we've got at least one group of mosquitoes over here that is going to escort us all the way. And we've got a couple of staggered guys that are going to come in just sort of on the way, which I think is going to be fantastic. Oh, look at that. We've also got a couple of Mustangs over here. Have you guys... Yeah, unfortunately you guys haven't got any sort of drop tanks. That's alright, you know what? I think we're going to be okay here. So, yeah, let's try to get to Stuttgart. Let's make sure that we're not flying over any too big flag concentration. Doesn't seem to be the case. Over there's a little bit over here. But, again, we just can't make it... We can't just avoid all of that. So, I think this is more or less fine. Karlsruhe is a bit difficult to see whether we've got anything over there. But yeah, that's okay. And target priority should of course be vehicles. Yeah, so that's fine as well. Anything else that we do want to hit over here? By the way, this 22 vehicle yard here is obviously the... Well, I say obviously, but I do think it's the Daimler Works. So these guys should be over here. There's also a Porsche plant in Stuttgart, but I don't think it was producing any type of truck in at the time. So yeah, I think this is going to be alright for now. Let's try to hit that as strongly as possible. Again, anything else? Notice the ME163. That is of course not active yet, but it might be interesting as sort of a target sometime later on. Armaments production, honestly that's not really that important. So what we do need to do of course though is also drag the recon down there, making sure that we actually know what we are about to hit. So that should be okay. Yeah, let's go there, that's fine. The slight issue here is we don't really have anyone who can contribute. And that is a big issue. Now, you guys fatigue extremely high. And I think that's probably the case for all of these guys, right? Not for you. That's fine. Great. Let's set you up then. You guys are going to fly in and take the pictures. And you do that too. Okay, so we've got a couple of lightnings over here that are going to come in and try to take these pictures, which is perfectly lovely to me. And you know what? We've also got the... We've got you guys. You should be alright, right? You've got 16 aircraft. Aircraft's in pool. Let's do it. Let's use you. It's a lot of cameras on these guys, so that's fine. And yeah, again, we've got a couple of guys over here. These guys are resting. And you know what? We are expecting that next time around we will not have... You know what we should potentially do is grab a couple of these fighters here. Let's grab at least the P-47s. Just give these recon guys here a little bit of cover. Even if it's only over Belgium. But that's fine. Good, okay, so that does take care of the Americans quite nicely, I think. Let's just briefly make sure that we are doing the right thing here. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so that should really give us a nice picture over here. Are we going through anything in particular that's dangerous? A little bit. Yeah, you guys are flying a little bit too close to this one. No, that's fine. I mean, Karlsruhe. If we could avoid Karlsruhe, that would be fantastic. Okay, there's another waypoint over there. That's fine. Now, I reckon we can't do that with the Bomb City command, because I am guessing that we will then not have the range to deal with the... to escort all the way in. No, we can. So that's fine. So we're passing in between Mannheim and Karlsruhe here. So that's perfectly lovely. Good. Yeah, let's do that this way. Up over here, there's nothing too big that we need to be concerned about. I mean, this is slightly unfortunate over here, but not much of that we can do about that. And it's not a very big concentration, so that's fine. Good. Okay, so let's have a look at the British then. So the Brits over here are currently set to bomb Bur. I would actually like you to come back to Cologne, I think. Now, these guys are 61% damaged on the Ford factory here, but we can do better than 61%, right? So yeah, let's pick Cologne as a target over there. That should be perfectly fine and lovely. Good. Who are we sending in there? Not that many Lancasters, honestly. And an amazing number of escort fighters. Now, let's actually assign anyone who's sort of available here. And probably we do briefly want to check at least whether these Lancasters really all need to rest. So yeah, let's actually check that briefly, and we can do that quite quickly, I think, over here. So yeah, let's simply set the filter over here to none. Then what we're going to do is we're going to only select level bombers, and we're going to grab some of these Lancasters over here, and that should give us a very nice picture over here. So the fatigue on these guys is actually pretty lovely indeed. So that does mean that we can basically have a look at only the guys who have acceptable morale. And acceptable morale, I'm going to define anything over 60... let's call that anything over 69 is going to be fine. Okay, and so you guys, I can set all of you guys to night only. And that should enable us to send a lot more aircraft over here. I know it's kind of a quick and dirty way to deal with these things, but you know what, it does work, so I think that's reasonably fine. Right, all of you guys do have the very high loadout here. Yeah, you do, so that's fine. You should find that target fairly easily. We are not passing through anything that is extremely dangerous in terms of AA. Well, what we can try to do is come in a little bit here from the north, so that we are avoiding that AA concentration, at least to some degree. I also don't know how dangerous Antwerp is. It's alright, I suppose. Well, if we could fly in a little bit more to the north, then that would be welcome as well. So yeah, let's try to avoid the AA in its entirety. Yeah, like that. I think that's okay. Yeah, still have a lot of fighters here, still have a lot of bombers. That is perfectly fine. Sterlings, Wellingtons. Let's actually check on these guys as well then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Wellingtons. And again, you know, these guys do have acceptable morale, so I think we can simply set these guys to do night only. Except for the... I don't know why I've got one 12th bomber command, but that's alright. Yeah, so we can actually assign these guys as well. So let's check about the Halifax then. And I don't want to do it for any aircraft because it just would mean... Look at how many Canadians are flying the Halifax, which is kind of interesting. Okay, yeah, let's go for night only. And that should again, yeah. Very nice. So this is going to be a huge attack here, actually. But that is kind of interesting. Yeah, and the Halifaxes are going to be nice because they are carrying this stuff. They don't have the best nighttime navigation, but what can we do? Sterlings, you're going to be fine as well. Can't you also carry something extremely big? Can you still make it if we were putting it you like that? No, you cannot. So let's actually grab you on the auxiliary tanks then. There we go. Yeah, and that's fine. It's going to be a huge attack. I suppose what we can do is try to set you up a little bit higher then. Yeah, I think 19,000 feet should still work. We did lose quite a bit to AA last time around, so that's fine. We could try to do a certain number of aircrafts in a group, but you know what? I think we're going to go with everyone at the same time here. You guys, of course, should also try to get Cologne and try to avoid the worst in terms of AA, like Antwerp. That seems to be alright. Good. I like it. Lots of Spitfires. That's okay. You guys are set to rest and you probably deserve that, so that's fine. How about the Mosquitoes? I don't remember you being extremely fatigued. Yeah, you're not. So let's actually set it to daytime over here. You've got high level cameras just to make sure that the Spitfires got that as well. Yeah, so that's fine. So just a couple of Spitfires and Mosquitoes here. That's perfectly lovely. Good. And what are you targeting? Fuel. No. That's fine. And the Bomb City Command should likewise be targeting vehicles. Yeah, there we go. Okay, fine. I like it. Good. Anything else that we should target here as a secondary thing? Armaments? No. Honestly, I think we're fine. That's good. Okay. So that does settle the British and the American setup over here. The intruder missions here were kind of nice, but they are using up quite a lot of morale and all of that. Still, I think you're doing fine over here, so I think that is something that we do want to keep up. So maybe try to shoot down a couple of more night fighters over here. That would be fairly lovely. The air superiority, honestly, over here, that just doesn't work at all, I think. It just doesn't do us any good. And these ground attacks on enemy air bases over here, you can just see how many guys over here we've actually set to rest because of the horrendous losses that we did take here around last time. So yeah, I'm gonna drop these airfield attacks here. They are just not gonna be worth it. I think it was just a horrible casualty rate for us. So what these guys instead are gonna do, but probably not now because these guys can all pretty much rest. It's only one group that is capable of flying this time around anyway, so yeah, that's going to be fine. The only guys who can, I think, fly reasonably are probably going to be the 2nd Tactical RAF force. So what we could try to do is strike at a couple of railway junctions. Is that it? Yeah, rail yards. So potentially areas, and I really want to find out whether it's viable at all to reduce their railway yards. So specifically in areas where we might be interested to land at some point in the future, might be of interest, of course. So I would actually like you to try and attack Rouen here with everyone that you've got, and it's only going to be a couple of Mitchells and other things, but that's fine. Let's try to set you up a little bit higher. It's going to be a small attack here, but that's fine. And what we can do is set you up on the rail yard pretty much exclusively here. And I think that's fine. Let's see whether that is going to be working out at all. Let's say on day 246, why not? Yes, let's confirm that. And let's make sure that we're of course doing some recon as well on the area of Rouen. We don't have any aircraft that can do that. Oh, sorry, you should actually of course be changed to recon. Rouen, that's fine. And we do have a couple of aircraft that can actually do that, so that's okay. These are Mustangs. I think you guys are low flyers. Yeah, low level camera. So you guys do need to be a little bit lower then, obviously. So I think that's 12,000 feet. Yeah. And let's send you in on day 1 and 3. And you guys do need to avoid the flak here then. So let's try to fly you around over there. Right, so I'm really intrigued to see whether that is going to go any good. But what on earth are you guys doing? But yeah, I'm probably going to more or less kill all of these missions here. Because just during this weather it's really not worth flying. So yeah, That being said, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Do let me know what you think about our attacks here, whether they are going good. Do let me know what you think about the German situation here in resources. This is really intriguing to me. Maybe there might be another bottleneck that sooner or later we could attack. That being said, hope to see you guys around next time. Bye bye.